Okay, y'all, I assume we will have some more people join as we get started here, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining our August monthly coach call. I'm excited to see some familiar names and faces here, some new coaches, some coaches that have been around for a while. So thank you all for being here. So today we're going to do just a quick introduction. We'll do a quick July refresher as well. What did we go over in the last meeting? Where can you find that information? We're going to introduce our trainer training, which we are developing now. We will talk about some of the topics that you all mentioned you wanted to talk about in this meeting from that survey that we sent out after the last meeting. We will, I don't know what completion means. I think I added that last minute and I don't think that makes sense. So I apologize for that. We'll have a quick Q&A. We'll do our raffle for the Amazon gift card, and then we'll have our contact information at the end. So don't feel like you need to write it down as I mention it. It'll be there at the end of this presentation. All right. So introductions. So if you could please enter your name and agency in the chat box, that would be awesome. So we can know who's here and kind of know what sites we're working with today. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Hannah Trapphagen. I'm the research assistant here at KCART at the University of Kansas Medical Center. I do have a couple of my coworkers also on the line. Cassie Bittner and Vanessa Snyder are both here as well as support and to answer some questions that they might be a little bit more qualified to answer since they've been around a little longer than me. We're excited to have you all here. Thank you all for joining. I hope that these calls stay productive and helpful for everyone and informative as well as we do transition to our new system. Awesome. Thank you guys for entering your information in the chat. So quickly, I just want to go over our July meeting. So last month we had our first monthly coach call, which was awesome. Thank you to those who attended and to those who couldn't. We did send out that YouTube video link, so we'll put that in the chat here so you guys can review it if you did miss it. But just a couple things we want to refresh you on is we have fully transitioned to our new site. So our old training site is no more, and we have our new training site. You can see the little difference here. It looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more intuitive. You should have a lot less bugs than we were experiencing with our old site. So this should improve the overall quality of training, not only for you, but for the families that you're working with. If you do not already have access to the site, you will gain access when your family registers, when your next family registers. So if you are wanting access to the site before a family registers with you, just send us an email to oasis@kumc.edu and we can work with you to get you set up so you can get familiar with the site if that's what you're looking for. Let's see. Okay, Cassie did put the link to the YouTube video for last month's meeting. So if you're looking for more information about our transition to this new training site, you can find information there. If you have a specific question that's not answered in that video, please feel free to send us an email or ask a question during the Q&A at the end of this meeting. We're happy to answer those questions because I know, when you're used to something and you're moving to something new, sometimes those questions can pop up. So we're here to support you all as much as you need. So the next thing I want to touch on is the trainer training. So we're currently in the development of our OASIS Train the Trainer program. We expect for this to be ready for rollout by spring or summer of 2022. So like I said, this is currently in development, so we'll give you guys a little bit of information about it, but we don't have all the answers yet. But we do want to let you know, the basics and what to expect out of this program. So this program is designed to increase the number of qualified OASIS trainers, to in turn increase the number of qualified OASIS coaches so that we can have a broader reach in the number of families that we can serve. So right now, our KCART team is training all of the coaches, and then you guys are out there working with the families, which is great. But we would like to train some of our trained OASIS coaches to become these trainers so we can increase that reach, as I mentioned. So to become an OASIS trainer, we will require that you have completed parent training with at least 3 families within a 1-year period. We also are going to ask you of authorization from your agency to be a trainer for your site. And we're going to limit that to 2 trainers per agency. Again, we'll have more information as we develop this and as it gets more and more ready to be rolled out. But we want to put this on your radar in case this sounds like something you're interested in. And we'll, keep updating you all as this becomes more and more available. But we're just excited at the opportunity to, train you guys even further and up your ability to train more coaches within your agency. So then we can serve, just a ton more families and get those services out there, because we know that this is something families are looking for. And what everyone wants to see, that money. So we are offering compensation to the agencies for each of the coaches that completes trainer training. Again, details are not nailed down on what this compensation will look like or how much it will be, but we do know, since this is grant funded, we will be able to offer compensation within our grant period for this training. Okay, so that was a lot of information, but we want to get to the main part of this call, which is designed to help you all collaborate with one another, answer any questions you might have, and specifically those topics that you brought up in the survey from the last monthly call. So first, we want to talk about family maintenance and course completion. So this was the most often requested topic for this meeting on what you all wanted to talk about. So I'll read these questions, but I really would love to hear from you all, your answers to these questions, so we can kind of get some collaboration going between coaches so you guys can help each other be successful. So when it comes to family maintenance and course completion, what we're talking about is, keeping our families active in the training and then actually following through and finishing that completely through the training site. So what methods have you used to successfully help your families complete the parent training? Feel free to type in the chat or unmute yourself if you've had success with this.
Hannah, what I found was that building a relationship with the parent was probably first and foremost, because I think they felt not obligated, but like when you have that relationship, you feel like you need to show up, and then they also felt like they could be honest about things that were difficult or time crunches. Like I just kept reiterating every week, let me know if there's a problem. Like I didn't want them to just not show up. I wanted them to say, hey, we got really busy this week. I didn't get to this part. And sometimes it was okay. Like I'd rather, get online with you and have you do an assessment or, provide that time or walk through, some of the pieces together if that was beneficial to them, especially with a parent that might not have like some of that background knowledge or capacity in that, background in a high level of reading or test taking, that maybe they felt nervous about some of those pieces. Creating a graph on their own might be overwhelming. So I wanted them to know, just show up and we'll figure it out together. And I think that made a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that sounds like a great idea, building that relationship, kind of creating that judgment-free zone where they can come in and you meet them where they're at, whether they've completed that, ready for the meeting, or they're just completely unprepared. But just letting them know, like, I just want you to show up and I'll be there for you. That's really great, Rachel. I love to hear that. Anyone else have some success in this family maintenance and course completion? I know we have some newer coaches on the line that might not have had a chance to go through this part of it yet. So for those who are newer, do you have any questions about even how maybe Rachel has been successful beyond just building that relationship? Any specific questions? No, that's okay. So have there been any struggles, any specific roadblocks that you've reached in completing the parent training?
This is Kristen. I haven't. I just completed the training in the last, what is it, July. And so I haven't actually started with families. And my main struggle right now is trying to figure out a good timeline because the training is 16 weeks. I have 11 weeks until I have my child. And so I've been kind of apprehensive about starting and what it would look like if I did have like a 2-week waiting period before I could pick up with a family. And so I was going to ask that question as far as, you know, what your guys' recommendations were for that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Vanessa or Cassie might be able to jump in and give you a better answer, but just from my perspective, I think, you know, getting started and just being open with your families and letting them know, you know, we're going to go through this together and this is how long it should take, but there might be a couple weeks, a month in between that I'm not going to be able to meet with you. So just preparing them for that hiatus and maybe giving them some stuff to work on, because you'll get to know them and have specific goals throughout the parent training. So maybe there's something they're struggling with that you can have them work on specifically during that time that you're out. That can kind of bridge that gap. And I think just with anything, just letting them know and being prepared that, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a break between, you know, maybe our like 10th unit and our 11th unit because Kristen's having a baby and that takes time. So I don't know, Vanessa or Cassie, if you want to jump in with any recommendations here.
I'm over here. So it's Vanessa. And I agree, definitely communicating with your family as far as, you know, what to expect in the future. But I have had some families that are in a crunch time on their end. And some families, you know, sometimes I may be able to condense a unit or two, or I can ask, hey, are we able to meet twice this week or for 2 hours, and maybe increase the length of the session so that we can complete what's needed. Or maybe, you know, if something is a lot more pressing and we need to tackle and really discuss this concept, well, maybe let's talk about that. And when I come back from maternity leave, you know, we can complete where we left off. So I think really, you know, communicating with the family, seeing what their needs are, seeing how we can assist, and seeing what they're willing to do. So if a family, you know, feels like this might not be what we want and we want to complete everything, you know, immediately and not have this gap, then, you know, that would be a family that we might have to hold off on. But some families, safe to say, they want the immediate assistance and that, you know, they're willing to maneuver as needed.
And there, I have 11 families that I'm working with, and out of the 11, there's 3 that are eager to get started. And so that's why I just thought I'd take the time right now, definitely to just address it with obviously you guys who are, you know, pretty well, you know, versed on how to, you know, kind of handle it. And I have told them there was, you know, if it has to be 2 weeks, because I'm at least taking 2 weeks off to at least accommodate to a new child. But, you know, we can do this remotely. We can set up session times, you know, in the evenings or, you know, whatnot, when my husband would be home. And they're all accommodating to that. I just didn't know, or even if it was that I was going to their homes in the evening, I just wanted to kind of get your guys' input on that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a great question. And, you know, I think things come up nowadays beyond just maternity leave that are going to cause us to take a break, especially during this pandemic. We might be sick, we might need time off. And so just knowing how to navigate that is super important. Thank you, Kristen, for asking that question. Any other questions or advice or anything on family maintenance and course completion before we move on? Awesome. Okay, so the next main topic that we heard from you all that you wanted to talk about was actually family recruitment. So if you guys want to talk a little bit about how you've successfully recruited new families, let us know, because I know some people do struggle with the recruitment. So anyone have tips, tricks, methods that have worked to recruit new families?
I'm going to jump in real quick and kind of discuss what is even going on in our clinic right now. So a lot of our children that end up with an ASD diagnosis have at some point gotten their hearing checked. And can you not hear me? Oh, they have gotten their hearing checked. And we have had audiology students, and we have touched base with some of the audiologists who are informing us of families that are in need of parent training services for their children who have an autism diagnosis based on their interaction with them during their hearing tests. So we've had some of our audiology students inform us of families that are interested in parent training. We've built connections with, some of the families here who then relay the message to other families. And I was actually informed of a autism support group, and I believe it's in Kansas, on Facebook, where people are talking about OASIS and, mentioning that it is a parent training available for them here. So that's just what we have going on here. Trying to see who we have in different states and what that might look like. Rachel, where are you located again? Are you in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. We originally recruited through CARD, which is the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. And it's a public resource where parents can go in, sort of a one-stop shop where there are case managers, and they'll, talk to parents about what resources are available in the community. And there are doctors on site that parents can make appointments with for, getting those original diagnoses. There's also ABA services in the building, OTPT. So, there's a lot of information and resources connected right there for autism.
Right. I think Kristen, Caitlin, you guys are here in Kansas.
Yep,
Yes.
smack dab in the middle of Kansas.
Out in
Salina. So
Okay.
yeah, Saline, Dickinson, Ellsworth. We service 9 different counties.
Okay.
And as far as like with methods right now, it's just reaching out to the families that I'm actually working with, which I have 11 at this point. I did reach out as far as with OCCK. We have a newsletter. It's called Spotlight that goes out once a month. So I've submitted all my information so that way families that do receive that will also get it. And then just kind of anytime I'm out in public, I'm always talking about what I'm doing. So that's really my methods to this madness right now.
And I don't know about you guys, but it seems like, our list of families are huge, at least here. So we have 20 families on our wait list. So, if you guys are looking for families, let us know. I think for the folks in Florida, there are research opportunities, and once we have the consent in place, we can let families know, hey, here's an opportunity to get parent training via research if you are interested. Or in Kansas, again, we have a lot of families here that may not be seen till the end of next year. So informing them that we have trained many providers now in the state of Kansas that they can reach out to as well, and directing them back to that website and letting them know where our providers are located. Anyone else have anything?
I just wanted to piggyback on what you said and say we're really eager to work with you. And we're updating our IRB right now. We're going through the process back and forth of getting that reapproved, adding in that we're going to get some recruitment from other sources. And particularly for me, because I want to work with families that have kids at risk for behavioral disabilities other than autism. And it's actually been a little bit harder to reach out to that pool. So just for everybody to kind of keep their feelers out for those families.
Oh yes, we're definitely keeping an eye out.
I appreciate it.
I don't know, Rachel, if you want to put maybe your email in the chat, so that if people come across families that would be a good fit for what you're looking for, maybe they could reach out to you. Okay, awesome.
Do you want to,
Go
do
ahead.
you want to mention just the age requirements as well?
I think 3 to 7 is what I'm looking at right now.
Right.
Awesome.
We've identified a few for you.
Awesome. I love the collaboration. Great work, everybody. You know, that's what these calls are designed for, is to get you guys communicating with each other, problem solving, and coming up with ways to best serve our families, because that's ultimately our goal. Does anyone have anything else they want to add about family recruitment or maintaining and course completion? Okay, then we have our Q&A about anything else. Do you have questions about our transition to the new training site, about the training itself, anything at all? Feel free to put any questions in the chat or unmute yourself if you have any other questions. If it's something more individual based that you don't want to ask on the call, you can always email us at oasis@kumc.edu and we'll get back to you very quickly. We all check that email, so. As you are thinking of questions, if you have any, or typing them in the chat, we'll go ahead and do our little raffle. We did have some issues getting our gift cards, but we now have them all. So Rachel, I believe you won last month. So if you haven't already, you should be receiving that gift card quickly. And we will put everyone else into the raffle. Cassie, if you want to, do you have the raffle up? If not, I can pull one up.
It will not let us screen share while you're sharing.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I can't share my screen. Can you share or allow me to share?
Oh, yes, sorry. Oh, Rachel, you did get it. Awesome. I'm glad you did. We had, you know, a fun time trying to figure out how to get those. Make post. All right, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
here we go. We have a winner, Kristen. Awesome. We will shoot you an email after this meeting just to get some information and ask if you would like to be featured in our next newsletter. As you might have noticed, we had our last month's winners featured in our newsletter. So another cool perk of attending the meetings and winning the raffle.
And I'll shoot you that email with a $25 gift card as soon as I hop into my office.
Thank you guys so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you guys all for attending. If you don't have any other questions, that is it. Let me just, can you stop sharing and I will share the contact slide real quick.
Yes.
Just in case anyone needs our email one last time. I'm sure you all have it, but just in case. There is our email, oasis@kumc.edu. So if you have any questions or are experiencing any issues that you want us to help you troubleshoot, just let us know and we are here for you. So thank you all for attending and I hope you have a wonderful week.